Good. Well, that's Dennis's room. That's my mom. Yeah, you. I'm sorry.
Oh,
hello. How are you? Good.
He does a really good job. Sorry, but he did one of my listings on custom bills and the called out what needed to be done. It was really nice. And then I've used 3 or 4 of my buyers. I'm doing an inspection today
How are you?
for my buyers that buy new construction.
Good. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, we always check.
Yeah, I mean, so I just wanted to know, was it good if I asked you to ask somebody something?
My name is Mia.
Don't have to get up, you just sit right there. Everybody's
What that?
gonna do it. We're just gonna sit down, right?
What did I do?
You? I don't know yet. I don't know.
Okay, well, we'll have like, if you want to ask questions, just let me know.
I would not do without you or. The shop helped a little bit, but so, and he said that they did a sonogram and he says you got a hole here.
Maybe some of the newer.
Yeah, I could do that.
I did the scan, but then you sure up.
Has all the information you need to buy. I feel like you know more than you. Right now, it's like craziness. I think you got a pretty good.
Where did you run into him? He did an inspection for one of my sellers, and I was very impressed with that contract. Cool. So I thought, I'll use it. I told him, I said, I need somebody.
They are. And you say these.
Good.
I have lots of
Yeah,
those.
I need one of, yeah, I need those.
Okay.
Snotty knows me.
Oh, it's just like some street
I gotta go buy the phone. But I don't wanna spend $1,000. Down here looking at that girl, she is the she is the best. She's at 1050. Efficient.
I got it.
Yeah.
I gotta be.
Yeah, I miss Judy. Her and Judy were, to me, are side to side. No, we could use it with a different Kara, we got Kara, but I don't know what to do about that.
It's okay.
Are y'all making trouble over here?
This one is.
We can't keep y'all together. We're gonna have to put y'all on separate sides over.
This is eavesdropper by design.
That's me.
I'm just hanging out over here. The stalker.
Yep, that's me. That's my job here.
Yeah, I totally forgot that I needed to load all that stuff up for that little girl to get her commission check on that rental.
Yeah.
And she asked me, she says, where's my check? I said, the office will send it. Duh. So today I was like, oh my God, I didn't do this stuff. So, and I said, you did not do all that stuff.
She asked me for it. I gave it to her.
Yeah, you did. That I found it. It's funny because my computer at home is not syncing with the email here. So I gotta get Ripperpack to bring the computer in and have them resync it. My iPhone is doing the same thing again.
You know, I don't know. No, I'm not. Oh. I just saw mine.
They usually do
This
this.
is longer than I can figure here.
You look very pretty today.
Pretty good.
You did something to your hair or something, looks different. Well, you look beautiful.
I have a question.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't see Diana. Is she okay?
She's here.
How's her knee?
She's gimping.
She's a fast.
She's, you know, she did go to the doctor.
I can't hear you.
She had some crutches. For a few days. I had to use crutches today.
Well, she was in my office today. She's doing much better. She's still gimping.
She wanted her to walk on it, but not. But I don't know where she's at.
Yeah, she was helping me. A little bit earlier. With the stuff that you didn't do to get that woman paid.
I think it was downstairs in the conference room today because we had a night.
Hi. Hi, how are you?
Chris,
I haven't set up the PowerPoint yet, so or even a computer.
What does everybody want to talk to me about?
I'm stressed. I'm stressed. Okay, I just been wondering like that.
Oh, right here, yes.
Okay, Chris. Yeah, I don't ever really do it. Yeah, they know it, but I do. Commercial, building, that's way too,
Diana there.
No, I'm not picking a fight. Here's the solutions I'm gonna find.
You're the host now.
I think it's a good one.
The hostess with the mostest.
Let's not do it. Probably need to go into I listed her commercial guidance. I had one Florida before.
I was looking at that.
One woman done for my body.
I'm like, what?
How you wanna go? So we'll figure that out. Hold on, just tell you, we'll make sure. Is that all you really need?
Yeah. Good. All you gotta do is get a garage door out there.
I'm sorry.
That's all we gotta do.
Okay, well, Doug, do you agree? I mean, we
Sure.
figured like 4 months.
Thank you. Thank you. Very graceful. Hello, 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 and welcome.
Well, this is what.
I'm Diet Jessie today. I'm pretending to be her. So I think Siri thought I was talking to her. Stop. So let's get this thing going. Great turnout today. Thank you all for being here. Very happy, very excited. And we're going to do with Culture Moment. Miss Sarah?
All right.
You bet.
I got it. I was doing bucket fills, so we'll just pretend. Okay, we're gonna start, that's all right. We do bucket fills right after this. This is kind of a bucket fill, today's culture moment. This one is handling a fellow associate's business when personal or family illness occurs. And I've seen y'all do this lately. I've seen y'all do this a lot, yeah. So I would say to anybody new who has never experienced that problem in our office, that we got a lot of great people here that can help in cases like that.
I
So-
testify for that.
So just holler at somebody and they'll help you. They really will. It's awesome.
All right.
Thank you all.
Perfect. Now on to bucket fills. Does anyone have a bucket fill they'd like to read? Dennis?
I got one, and it's for Kara. She was great with helping me set up the council meeting. I appreciate her. And I also got one for Pat. She's always helpful, thoughtful, and she manages the phone conference.
This thing would ship without her. Miss Wayla?
I have one for you.
For me?
Yes, my bucket full is for Lane. You always go far and above anything that is asked of you,
Aw.
even doing stuff that you don't know that you're supposed to be doing. You do it, and you do your best.
Well, thank you, thank you. I make it work. We make it work. Anyone else? Christy?
I have one for Mia. Being new to the office, not new to Keller Williams, a lot of my preferred vendors are still back in Capel and Irving. And Mia has been absolutely helpful, helped setting these escrow officers, handyman, a bunch of her vendors up here to form new relationships. And I really appreciate her time helping me develop relationships up here.
My pleasure.
Aw, yay, Mia. Who else?
I have a handful.
Okay.
Actually, well, one for you, because you were so sweet to wait for me at the end of the month so I could turn in one last building check.
You're welcome.
And then, for Christy, for just always encouraging me. Love you.
And I have one for Kara too. She's always there to help, no matter what you need, when you need it, or how you need it.
Kara, your bucket is filled
I
today.
just for a week. This one is for Jenny Olson. I don't know if she's on or not.
Jenny?
From Stephanie. Stephanie, do you want to read it? You want to say it?
I just want to thank Jenny for all the help she's been letting me shadow her, she's been answering a zillion questions. She's just been, from start to finish, she's just been amazing, so I really appreciate it.
Great. I'm glad to hear it. This one is from Beth, and it's for me, and she's singing me for M&Ms. So sometimes you just gotta have your chocolate.
Sometimes you just need them.
There are M&Ms on my desk, so if anybody needs some, any chocolate, come on in and get them yourself. They're in this little cute container. This one's for Joanne from Beth, and that is for helping Mickey. This is for Julie from Beth for helping out Mickey. In case y'all don't know, Mickey McGuire had I guess it was a heart attack.
Yeah.
A week or 10 days ago, and he had some procedure stuff in the hospital, and he did help me out. And I know that several people have gone out there and taken food to the family. So that's what she's talking about. This one is for Kathy from Beth, who will come time help. To Lauren Swanson from Beth for your helpful nature. And to Carol from Beth for helping me. So,
All right, last call. Anyone else? Well, not last call. There's always next week. All right. Well, with that being said, we're going to bring Miss Laura from Super Inspector up here. Why don't you come tell us a little bit about yourself?
Everybody, I'm so excited to be here today. I've never been in this office before, so I'm sure some of you have probably heard of Super Inspector. We are local to Denton. That's where we started. But we now cover all of North Texas, Austin, San Antonio, Houston, and we are currently opening in Oklahoma City as we speak, and we'll be moving into Kansas City beyond that. Super Inspector wants to be your one-stop shop for all inspection needs. So we can do residential, commercial, phase inspections on new construction. We also have guys who are licensed to do your pools and spas, your farm and ranch. They can do septics and wells. And included in every one of our inspections is a free termite inspection with a WGI report, a zip level foundation measurement, a sprinkler check to make sure all the systems are working, a thermal imaging on all the walls and ceilings to make sure there's no moisture in the walls, and then like if they miss insulation or something like that, we've actually found AC ducts that were totally sheetrocked over. So you'd be amazed at the things that thing could find. But those things are all included. And then your clients would actually have access to our concierge services, which helps from everything to setting up utilities, finding movers, anything that they would need beyond moving into their house. So that's one of the benefits of going with us. We do a lot of extra things. We have over 2,500, it's probably more than that now, it's probably over 3,000 5-star reviews. So check us out. Our guys are super good about being cautious when they do the report so that there's no alarming the potential buyer. And then we are also in the DFW market offering same-day inspections if you get it called in before noon. And then we also would have next day availability as well. So I have restocked y'all's cards downstairs recently. I will make sure there's plenty of them down there. And does anybody have any questions for me?
I do.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you put a minimum amount of on-the-ground experience when you're interviewing inspectors, or do you take brand-new licensees?
So that's a great question. We have basically, I don't think they're called teams, but we have inspectors that have been in the market for a long time doing inspections. And then they will have, it's not an apprentice because the guys are already licensed technically, but they have to spend quite a bit of time with them before they are actually just released out to do an inspection on their own. Does that answer your question?
So we could get a newbie.
No, you could get a newbie with somebody who has been around for a long time. They don't go
So
on their own.
they go with them.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes. Yeah, they're
That-
not ever
there's the
alone
difference.
when they're first fresh out of school or have, no.
You have an apprenticeship. for your-
Yes,
your-
well, yeah, it's not, I wouldn't call it an apprenticeship because like I said, they're already licensed, but they do, have to go do some training. And we actually are opening our own training academy. We have a new building down here. It's actually not a new building. It used to be at Dark Horse Photography or something like that. That is now our office and we'll be training inspectors and we're certified to do all that, so.
Cool.
Yep. Anybody else have any questions? All right.
All right, well, Miss Laura has lovingly brought this beautiful basket.
Pineapple basket.
Since we didn't get to do our giveaway last week, we're going to do it today. And this is for the bucket fills from last month. Yes, Dennis? Pardon? Oh, this is, if you did a bucket fill last
Oh, I
month.
see, okay.
You're in here a couple of times, I got you. You want to pick a name?
All right. The winner would be Eden.
Eden.
All right. Let's go in here.
She is not here today. She works on Saturdays.
All right. Well, we
Well,
will leave
perfect.
that
We'll
here
make sure
for
this gets
Eden.
to her.
And if anybody has any questions or anything, we have a great call center. I was gonna say, we have great girls that will answer your questions in there, but we have some guys in there now too, so. give us a call.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alrighty, now on to announcements. Tomorrow is Headshots Day. There's still a couple of spots left if you need to get a headshot. Just see Beth at the front desk and she'll get you all hooked up there. We've got monthly happy hour coming up tomorrow from 4 to 6 at the Dive. It is BYOB, but we're all gonna get together and hang out. It's been a long, crazy couple of, how long has it been? 10 years now? So we're gonna just reminisce, fellowship, and try to relax. Contracts class, is this going to? No. Contracts class is coming up July 20th. Beth has a giant list downstairs. You might have heard from her already. You're required by our E&O insurance to take this once a year. If you haven't taken it yet, this one's only 2 hours. So this one might be the one to get in on. And that's July 20th from 12 to 2. Diana, do you want to talk a little bit about the database happy hour that's happening on July 20th?
Sure. Sorry, I can't do that with that in my ear. I'm hearing myself echo back. It's not working for me. So I started joining in on a database happy hour that Wayla and Megan were doing. I will be there from 4:30 to 6:30. I'm gonna meet you where you're at with your database. Bring your laptop and bring your database. I don't care if it's on your phone, in a CSV file, or already in Command. I'm gonna bring instructions and help you get it into a database system, Command, wherever you're wanting it to be. We can work on getting it tagged, get your follow-up systems in place, whether that's some sort of a neighborhood nurture, or even just tagged for making phone calls so that you're touching your database and can get more deals out of your sphere of influence. So Nobody likes doing it. I know it's tedious. So come join us, have some fellowship and some fun while you're doing it and get some help from me. And you're gonna be here
I'll be
too,
there.
me and Lane, and have fun. Yes, Layla.
I just want to add on to that. That is a great time to spend because I've been in this business forever and my database sucks. I'll tell you, it's never been very organized. That's why I'm literally kind of working on it this time, believe it or not. It's just a lot easier when you do it as a group and you get in a pickle and you need help. Diana and Lane are real good about jumping in and helping you. And I'm really sad I'm not gonna be here Tuesday to come.
That's all right. We'll have it again next
But I hope you have a lot of people come, because it's a great time.
So I don't care if you don't have a database yet and it's still on your phone, or if you do and you just want to take it to the next level, we'll meet you where you're at and go from there. So please come join us.
Wonderful. Amy with Title Resources is going to be teaching a transfer on life versus death estate CE class here on July 22nd from 12 to 1 p.m. So if you're needing some CE hours, that might be a good way to get those.
Isn't she doing something on Tuesday too?
This
Yeah, I need
Tuesday?
to do that one. Yeah.
Here?
No, at a restaurant for lunch.
She might
It's an
be.
hour and a half for 1 hour credit.
She might be, I'm not sure.
Probably, they've been doing a lot of that North Point chef.
Yes, there. Okay, and then she's gonna be here on Thursday for another one. Might be a good idea. I gotta take that one. I need the hours.
Come on in, we'll be here. I might not be, but somebody will be. And then Thomas is going to be teaching how to grow your business by 240% on July 29th. Lunch provided, I believe, by Super Inspector, who, I guess she's gone already. Thomas, do you want to talk about that a little bit more?
No.
Great. Love that. Learn how to grow your business by 240%. Exactly, to the T. Not 241, just 240%. And lastly, Quantum Leap is August 17th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Jesse talked a little bit about this last time. It's usually a $500 class that we're offering to you for $49, unless you bring a recruit, and then you and that recruit both get it for free. Kara, do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I mentioned it last week. When I worked for the Ohio Valley region for a few years, I heard numerous people talk about this course at the time, because we gave it a few times through those years. And people who had had it in the past just raved about it, said this was the class. This was the one class that made a big difference in their lives. So,
What's the core that the takeaway that they had from taking that class?
I don't have any of those right just off the top of my head.
That they made such a difference.
But yeah, just, and Jessica mentioned it last week, just talking about making the smallest steps, the smallest changes that make the biggest impact.
And Gene Rivers, how many people here have heard of Gene Rivers?
He's awesome.
Gene Rivers, this is the class that he took from Gary Keller when he was not with KW yet, and this is the reason he joined KW. This solidified his joining all in with Gary Keller, so, and for $49, my goodness, it's a deal.
Well, Miss Shelley, you want to come on up here?
I can do that.
Who are you? What do you do?
Oh, nobody knows me.
No, she's in, we don't know who she is.
I don't know who
This is a
stranger
great turnout.
Yeah, I love
Yeah, you
it.
won my basket last month.
I sure did. I love it.
Another one. Did you use everything in it?
Absolutely, except for the corn holders. I don't eat corn, but Diana took that for her kids.
Okay, good. There you go. Well, I'm Shelley Jones. I'm with the Chosen Home Warranty. Y'all, thanks for having me. I have to give a brag for two things. One for Beth, because she's so good at, she calls me like somebody else is supposed to be here today, and I live nearby. So she said, "Will you come do this last month?" Sure, I'll do it. I'm always available, but I appreciate y'all being here. This is a great turnout. I have a brag today. I don't think I said this last month, but because I didn't have it. But the brag I have of my company is it's July, and I haven't had a claim call yet. In the home warranty industry, it is it is a horrible thing to go through summers because something always goes wrong in Texas and around here, but mainly because other companies, traditional companies, and there are a lot of them, there's still about 32 of them here, use, their own technicians and they use their own time and they pay them minimum wage and all that good stuff or whatever it may be. But Achosa doesn't do that. Achosa is a company that was created by a couple of guys and lawyers that came from the traditional company, which I came from one of 5 years as well. Won't mention any names, doesn't say anything yet. But the point is we do things very differently because you can hire your own technicians. And what this is, what's happened here, and I'm seeing it as I go along every month, because when I don't get any claim calls, it's telling me that your homeowners are using your text, or they're using their text, they can use whoever they want, they get paid at the house before they leave, retail pricing. I'll say that again, retail pricing. I had a plumber call me last week and he said, I'm in a house, it was Tammy's final thing, but anyway, he said, something to the effect that I don't work for home warranty companies. And I went, you don't work for us. The client is the homeowner and he's standing there, right? He goes, yeah, but I never get paid with the warranty company, so I don't know if I'm gonna do this job. But he's a plumber and I was like, you'll get paid. You'll get paid exactly what our cap is, whatever we're gonna pay that day, and you'll get, whatever the difference is if we don't pay it, or whatever the trade-off is, you're gonna pay that to him. They're gonna pay to the plumber and you're gonna leave fully paid. It took me a few minutes getting to understand that. So if somebody ever tells you, I don't work for home warranty companies, we don't keep that. We're not sending out our technicians, we're sending out the homeowner's technicians. So they're happy, they've got the guy they know and trust is in their home, that's important. If they don't have anyone, and I always talk to them, I try to talk to all your buyers, they're in my phone, I know where they're coming from, I know they're your client. So that when they do call, say, I don't know anybody that's moved here from, let's say, California, you think that happens to them?
Not very often.
Yeah, so when they call, don't know anybody, I always refer them back to the realtor, give y'all another, back to your realtor, always. It's always a big thing. When you're in the real estate industry, as long as I've been, that's important, that's your client. When things go wrong, they think of you. I don't know why. When things go good, they're gonna think of you. So we want them to use either their text or they refer them back to you. If they don't have a text and they don't call their realtor, we do keep a list of local people that you guys have referred to us that are on my list. So I try to seek out your favorite electrician, your favorite plumber, your favorite HVAC guy, let me know who they are, so that a homeowner calls the company, just calls them direct and files a claim. I may not know about it. They'll say, well, I don't know anybody. We'll give them 2 or 3 names of local people. It's very important that we keep our business local. So that's important. That's been the big game changer, but I have not got a call on a claim problem. And it's just so exciting because the joke in home warranty is how many summers can you get through that quitting? And it really was that way for a long time. 2 things I gotta do, then I'll shut up. The first one is, the most important thing I want you to see is our customer survey. It's called a Net Promoter Score. Companies use this when there's a service done. They email you and say, how do we do? Y'all get them all the time when you go anywhere. Now, go to Sam's, go anywhere. They'll email you and say, how do we do? That's a Net Promoter Score, and we're on that. And we have a very high Net Promoter Score because we send that to every homeowner. It's very important that we're transparent and that we know that they had a good claim experience. Because if they didn't, we're going to call them or quick find out what happened. So we usually don't have that happen. But that's what's on this one on the front. The other side of that is all the different plans we use that we cover besides 1 to 4 family. The most common plans are on this other flyer. This was the #1 thing the realtors didn't want when Achosa was developed, was don't give me a 20-page, brochure book, because we're going to throw it away. So we have a 1 page on each one. This one covers all the duplex, triplex, new construction, all the different pricing on that. And the other one covers our 2 main plans, 575, 675. The only difference in those 2, the 675 is $800 more you get for the half of the HVAC, and the water heater you get $200 more on things. So that's the only difference in those 2. Washer and dryer, main refrigerator, all basic stuff. They're all our basic covered stuff. They're not options, they're covered. Seller's coverage is free. Always put it on there. It's free. I just replaced the microwave for, oh God, it's a Victor Bose client. I can't remember anyway. It was a microwave last week and it was covered and it was the seller side. So put seller's coverage on regardless how short that term may be. But when you get a buyer, then we will try to convert it to the buyer. We're obviously not paying on the seller side, but we try.
And if it doesn't convert, if they use it, they pay whatever they use for.
That's right. There's no extra cost to the seller. If they file a claim, we pay for the microwave. It's like $324 claim. Microwaves and water heaters, they're either in or out. So this was out, and it was a seller on Victor's side. So
Okay, so let's say the buyer comes in and he picks somebody else. What happens to that fee for the?
There's no fee on the seller side. He's now got a free microwave. then they will, HVAC's covered in our seller's coverage. Most people charge extra for that at closing.
I gotta give
We
you
do
two,
not do that.
before you leave,
We
I gotta
used
give
to-
you 2 addresses.
Okay, we used to do that, you know that. We talked about that.
Plenty of time.
Don't tell people, most of y'all know where I came from. So.
What's the cap on the HVAC?
What's the cap on the HVAC? The HVAC coverage is 4,000. If you own the 575, it's 4,800 on the 675. So everybody has a cap. Every warranty company's gonna have a cap on what they're covering. I mean, our maximum coverage a year is $25,000. That's nothing. I mean, that's a lot of money, y'all.
Yeah.
For $575. And I'll tell you something, I try really hard to talk to your buyer again. I want them in my phone. I want to see who they're coming from. I know who their realtor is. And I try to talk to them so they know it's not a 100% insurance policy. It's very important that they know that not 100% of everything may not be covered. Occasionally, I mean, most of the time it is, but sometimes it's not either. Depends on what's being done. And realistically, only 7% of the time are we replacing an HVAC. We're usually repairing it. That's a pretty low percentage. I didn't know that. I came work this time. 7% of the time we're replacing the HVAC. So if you have an older HVAC, go with the higher plan because you get more coverage if it goes out. But higher, I mean older, like 10 plus years. I had a guy that I put on yesterday, get 3 ACs, and he had 2 that were new as of 4 years, and one of them that was 18 years old. And I just told him, I said, you can either option to that one. He goes, no, the inspector said it was great. It was working fine. I said, but tomorrow it may not be. You're covering the stars. But he chose the 675 just for that reason. And I didn't, doesn't matter which one I sell you. I don't get more money for selling you the higher plan. It doesn't matter to me. I just try to find out what your client is. That's the most important. So I'm all about the client. Yeah, that's what we've always been. Any questions?
Clients that have, or buyers that have opted out of warranty as part of the contract to better the offer, can they choose the service after closing?
Yes.
And up to how long?
That's even better question. You can put a home warranty on a house anytime, 24/7, all 365. The best thing about that, I'm glad you asked the question, to remind me, you get a discount. If you buy for them, I have a lot of brokerages that are requiring their agents to buy the home warranty because, I have no idea what that means, but I think it's because, premiums must go down quite a bit if there's a warranty on the house. So we can discount at $50. I can discount for a military, police officer, teacher. I can discount at $50 if you want to buy it for your own home, if you want to buy it for them. If it's not in the contract, or if we just don't have a wiggle room in that contract, and we need a little bit more money, I can discount it 25 to $50. But definitely can do that when it's outside of the contract. So we're getting written out of probably 2 out of 3 contracts. It's a tough business. But if y'all buy it, it's a great gift. I mean, I've got realtors buying them all day long for a gift, and they'll remember you for life. You're their realtor for life. And I'll tell you, this is a product worth the paper it's written on. It's not like the other companies. I promise you that. I came from one of them, and I really know the experience of that one versus this one. And I wasn't going back into home warranty. Y'all may have known I was hustled out to go to Title last year, then December of 19, and then when I went to work there 5 months later, they closed the office because COVID. I was like, okay. But you know what? My mom had just moved out here. She's 88 years old. I needed to spend time with her. So my husband said, would you just take some time off and quit running? And I was like, okay. So I took time off, and it was near the end of the 3rd quarter, 4th quarter of COVID going on. So it worked out really well. And then I got a call from Manchester. So then my partner's Mary Ann King. Y'all may know her. She's been in the business 20-something years. She handles pretty much all of Flower Mound going west and south. I handle Dallas, Denton, and Collin County. I came out of Collin, some of you may know that. So they gave me Collin because of the relationships I still have. Any other questions? Good to see y'all. Y'all, Christy, had a great big day, huh? I like the pictures. It's fun to watch everybody's pictures. Any other questions for you? I'd love to work with y'all. If I'm not working with you, I'd sure appreciate it. If you want some agents I'm working with that know me a long time, just let me know. I'll give you their name.
Thanks for swooping in, getting us
You're
ready today.
welcome. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks, Alex.
All right, now some of y'all may know either because you're participating in or maybe teaching it, but we're currently in Ignite right now. And in the spirit of Ignite, I kind of want to turn the tables a little bit and invite some of our newer agents to ask some of our more experienced agents some questions and kind of open the floor for discussion. So I'm just gonna call it random. Does anybody want to volunteer? ETL, you look ready? You look ready?
Do I, okay.
You can just stay there.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so the first one is, so I'm very blessed to have my mom and my brother helping me along the process, but thinking through everything, I was thinking, other than taking classes and learning processes or how to do things through, like for example, we learned CMAs, how to do CMAs. through Ignite today. But other than those classes, is there a way for us to learn that process on our own online? Like, is there a database, or I don't know if Command has like notes or step by step on this is how you can do a CMA. So my question is there something like that that new agents could use, or ways that new agents can learn outside of classes in case they need to learn it before a class hits? Does that make sense?
You want it on this one, plug, we were talking about this earlier. We had a conversation about this. Erica?
No, there's not. No, I'm just kidding. So we were just so tech committee, by the way, tech committee, second Wednesday of every month at 11 a.m. It happened right before this. Huge turnout. So tech committee is where you guys can come and talk about what technology classes that you would like to see at the Market Center and give us some feedback. So in that committee, we just talked about how we have a very low adoption rate of agents who know how to use KW Connect or know that it exists. KWConnect.com has a ton of those resources, not specifically for CMAs, but just about like how to run an open house, how to have a buyer consultation, how to get a listing presentation side. Everything you could really imagine is on KWConnect.com. So it's encyclopedic. If you don't know about it, hi, you're the #1 training company on the face of the planet. You should probably know how to log in, at the very minimum. As it pertains to specifically CMAs in this market using our MLS, there's a great website called YouTube, where there are a lot of people who teach you how to run CMAs through Matrix, is what they'll say. And then I think our board actually has some video resources as well. I've seen them, but I can't remember where they have been posted. But hopefully that answers.
No, that definitely does. Thank you. And then my next question is, what was an aha moment in your career where you learned something that really either cut down time and you were like, wow, I should have been doing this years ago, or something that you learned from maybe another agent that you started implementing with your clients and prospects that you thought, wow, this really changed the way I worked, or how my clients loved this. This is something that my clients really appreciated that I do now.
Just be organized.
Being organized.
What do you mean by that?
Have
Break that down for us.
sheets or whatever, you know.
You're not gonna put me on the spot.
Your listings, your
Yeah.
contracts, closed, just be organized.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else?
So ETL, there's a great class on July 29th called How to Grow Your Business.
Ah,
by 240
okay,
That
there's your plug.
I don't remember who the instructor is, but he's very handsome. I would recommend you come and take that class because the whole idea is the aha that I had that grew my business. And it was, just to give you a spoiler, it was a really, really high investment in people in the form of leverage and coaching. Which sounds stupid and sounds like spending money that you don't have. I promise it isn't. That's not what I'm teaching. That is what launched my business.
Okay.
So I'm not going to ruin it today, but
July
July
29th.
29th.
Okay. And then my last one is starting off, I feel like things can be a little overwhelming and I feel like we need to get to everything right away because time frames, for example, knowing how long we have that we can either sit on something, I feel like I have to answer the email that second that it comes out. Or also, everybody talks about setting boundaries and not answering your phone past 7 or 8. But as a new agent, obviously you want to give them that ability to call you and feel like they can connect with you because I feel like that's something that we have. It's like, okay, I'm eager to help you. So what's the best way you guys found starting off to set those boundaries or at least give yourself some like self-care grace time where you kind of recouped and, you know, got prepared for the rest that was coming?
I remember a comment that Marilyn Newland shared with me when I was a newbie. And she said, I just try to make sure that most every day of the week, even if it's for 2 hours in the afternoon, just as an example, the phone gets shut off and I do something for me. Whether that's a nap, go buy something, or whatever. But she said self-care is as important as every aspect of your business. Yeah, and anybody that is prone to allowing or being available for people's texts at 2 a.m., you're an idiot. I'm not an idiot.
If they're reaching out, it's because they need something.
Yeah, I agree. I think everything needs to be an appointment. And like my voicemail has a bunch
No.
of excuses of things that I'm probably doing. So sometimes that's helpful. Like my voicemail literally says I'm most likely in an appointment or helping my listing get ready for this hot market or chasing around one of my 3 crazy kids. Like it just
it gives them a reason of like why I'm not answering. And if it's a client, I know that I don't want to answer during like date night, I'll just text them immediately. In an appointment, I'll call you later. And then at least like I used to serve tables, so like if the food was like taking forever, we wouldn't just not tell our people that like, hey, the food's coming. We would just like let them know, hey, I'll get with you, but at least they know they get a text or something.
Appointment is right.
I just,
Yes.
I just answer it. I don't care what time they.
You're in an appointment with your husband, you're in an appointment
They need something.
getting your hair done.
They don't
That's
wanna
a
be
great way
watching
of
TV.
stating it, because, I mean, starting off my way of thinking of like, if I'm not doing work, I should get to this right away, you know, so that's, so I guess it's just especially me, I'm just like, okay.
Well,
this
I
is-
struggle with emails too.
Yeah.
And like, I like what they always tell us about like the one thing, because when you're new, like it's overwhelming. And I would just have like 3 things every day that I'm gonna tackle. But like on a daily basis, as far as like the one thing, it's usually lead gen. So what Thomas said about following up with your people, my one thing is gonna be like my follow-up, you know, my calls, my notes, like everything else can like, you know.
It's real easy to feel guilty as a realtor to have a personal life outside of real estate. You feel like anytime that clients want to do something, you should always be available and respond right away. And I just read this somewhere today, one of Gary Keller's quotes about business is a rubber ball. If you drop it, it's gonna bounce back up. Your family, your health, there were 4. Anyway, your relationships, your family, your health, something else, those are glass. If you drop those, you could probably pick it back up, but it's gonna be fractured, there's gonna be issues that could possibly not be repaired. So I've always, just like they were saying, appointments, I have 3 children. If, one is a soccer game, hey, I already have an appointment booked at 11 o'clock on Saturday, however, I'm available at 9 or 2, what works better for you? I'm gonna give them those options. I don't wanna know, hey, when do you wanna go? Because they're gonna say this time, and then you're like, well, crap, I wanted to do this, or no, you put your family stuff on your calendar first, or your alone time, or whatever, book that stuff first, and that's an appointment. Your clients don't need to know what you're doing. You should have a personal life, and then you tell them what appointments you have available at that time, and they'll find a way to make those appointments when they wanna work with you, so.
And if they don't, then you gotta look at it, like, it's hard, because you get that, like, oh my gosh, they don't wanna work with me, but they're not gonna value your time. Always say something better comes back in return. Sometimes you gotta let that one thing go, and you're gonna get 2 better deals that are gonna end up being 5 different referrals. So, it's hard, I get it, because I'm the people pleaser, and I'm a yes person, but I still have issues where sometimes I'm like, oh God, now they're gonna text me at 4:20 a.m. I have one other day, someone's like, they text me at 4 a.m. I'm like, welcome to real estate. You gotta put that phone on do not disturb. Even if you're late, do not reply to that text. It's hard to not reply to that Facebook message or whatever. And like she said, sometimes, get you a Calendly app and send them that link, like, here's when I can meet you. And let them know, like, hey, you are a business person. You're a business owner. You're not there just to run around and chase whatever they want you to chase. So just kind of set those expectations and make that message. I have Darby, who I used to work with, and she says, my business hours are between 9 to 5, but by appointment after. And so she sets that expectation right away. It's like, you want to meet me after 5? It's going to be by appointment. So that might be a good suggestion.
Yeah, thank you. That's all my questions.
Great. Stephanie, did you have any questions?
I kind of do. So we've been seeing a lot of different forms and stuff that people take for their listing appointments and so forth. How did you figure out exactly what you wanted your packet to look like when you were taking it to prospective people? Because I know there's stuff online and I've looked at them, but it seems like everyone has their own little twist to it. But how did you get to the point where you knew what you wanted to represent, your packet to represent when you went out to people, and not just take a can one?
It's hard because I think it's like trial by error.
It
I'm
is.
still changing mine all the time.
Yeah.
I really do. I'll find something and be like, oh, you know what? I don't think I like that so much, and I'll change a page and I'll create it in Canva and add it. But I think it depends on too the client who you're meeting with. So I don't always use all the stuff in the packet.
So you just kind of custom fit it.
Yeah.
Right? I have a template.
And the market is always changing,
Yeah.
so when we went through this, the last market change, I found myself on my listing appointments ripping out some pages, going not relevant, and it almost redesigned my listing presentation as I kept doing it, as I kept practicing it, as I kept role playing it. with other agents in the office. When you go to a listing presentation, you don't use a specific page for something a couple times, remove it. Or when you go, oh, I forgot that one, then you just kind of, and it's almost a tweak, almost every listing.
And I honestly email them stuff before I meet with them and heard like the heads up, like, so that way I'm not sitting there sucking them dry with stuff that we don't need to talk about. So that way I try to go in there with what do you want? Like, listen to them first and see what value I can provide to them and the sales, as opposed to coming straight in and be like, hi, I'm Chrissy, this is what I can do for you. Like, they can have the packet before and they can email it. Yeah, that's kind of what I do.
I do the same thing. I email anything personal about me, my background history, what I can do for them, all that personal stuff. I focus my listing appointments on.
Yeah.
And so all that other stuff, whether they read it or not, it's in their email, but the listing appointment's always focused on their house, their family, their goals.
And you'll learn to mirror their personalities too, because you'll come to some and they're gonna be very friendly,
Yeah, you're
happy, heavy people, you walk in, you hug,
Yeah,
kids and dogs and all that kind of stuff. And then you're gonna have ones that they wanna know the numbers, they wanna know the stats, the facts, and then you can tell, you're gonna pull that personality back and reel it in, otherwise you're gonna turn them off from being too happy.
Don't be like a really bad divorce. You didn't know there was a bad divorce. You walk in there and they're both like, by the way, we're getting divorced. You're like, okay. So it's like, you just never know.
Don't feel like it has to be like a rigid listing. I was a buyer's agent for 6 years first, and then went out on my own a couple years ago. And my max coach was just like, well, how, on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate your listing appointment? And I was like, well, blah, blah, blah. I'm not sharing. And I said, I don't feel like I have a true listing appointment because probably 96% of my business is repeat and referrals. And so she's like, you have a listing presentation. Just because it's not a PowerPoint you open up on a laptop and go through, just because it's not how you think everyone else is doing it doesn't mean you don't have one. So again, it's going to be trial and error, practice with other agents, and then kind of, figuring out what has the best success rate for you and what you're most comfortable doing. I'm not a hard salesperson, so I don't have a strong close at the end like I'm sure other agents do, but
yeah,
I do well.
I think, well, like I would say, like outside the box, like just not to overthink it, because it's such a good thing in command. Like I literally just plug and play, and you input like your client testimonials and your awards or anything that's gonna help you stand out. But like Chrissy does, I usually send it ahead of time, and like confidence and knowledge is what's gonna get you the listing, not so your personality.
I would just reemphasize, practice on other agents, get with team members, get with other people to practice and role play with, but don't practice on your clients. Well done.
What?
And you usually don't get it.
Stephanie, do you have anything else?
No, I thought half, because the other questions got answered earlier.
Ms. Gabrielle, did you have anything that you wanted to ask the group?
I think you guys kind of covered it. My big thing was when you go into listings, what is the documentation, how you present yourself, making sure that you have all of the information that you're needing. Let's say, for example, do we need to make sure that we point out the fact that even though you took the blinds down, even if there are metal hooks where the blinds were, do we have to actually leave those at the property, or do they need to have those removed? Or being very particular, do we need to go ahead and immediately bring in your Bose laser and start taking measurements while you're talking to them, or you just go, okay, face-to-face first meeting? Do we run off of tax relists for measurements? Do we go on Denton CAD? Like, how do we present ourselves?
I do mine in 2 appointments, basically. I go the first time, I go to the house, we visit, we talk. I'm ask my questions, what their plans are, what are they thinking. A lot of times I don't even take a listing agreement.
Okay.
I take the information, I take a CMA and some information on the stuff that I know. And we talk a little bit about value. If they're ready to list, great, when you want me to come back? And at that time, we go back and I do all the paperwork. But I'm not a real pushy. And I will tell you, in 28 years, I probably haven't lost less than, probably 10 listings. I usually always get my listings. But I don't do it, I mean, I'm sure I don't do it like nobody in this building, because I'm not real organized and I don't do a lot of BS, and this is what it is. Like me or don't
Wait,
like
are you
me.
saying we're all BSers?
I mean, I don't take a lot of it, I don't take a lot of it. Sorry. No, I don't take a lot of fluff. I think a lot of times that confuses people. I don't bring up problems when there's a lot of times no reason to bring it up, because a lot of times it don't come up. You know, we talk about what we need to talk about. If they want a list, then I go back and list it.
Remember, if you're talking about like the measurements, usually I talk to that person before, just verify, hey, this is what I showed your square footage, just to see.
Yes,
Sometimes
this
there
is
are-
what the
we had
tax
an
rolls
add-on,
say,
we
this is
have
what the
this.
tax rolls say,
Yeah.
you know.
That way you can know how to comp it.
There's a really cheap laser measure at Lowe's that I.
Yes.
I go when the photographer, usually meet the photographer and do it. I'm hiding while he's in the other room.
But you've gotta have a source for the total, square footage?
Yeah.
So it's gotta be from the tax roll, or to have an over appraisal or something, but you've gotta have that in your file. Cause if you come up with 2,900 square feet, and they are, and it's really 27, they're coming for you.
Did you measure those or like? It's more for just those measurements that are, and then the ones for like the
The rooms, yeah, that, I agree. I did that too, and I've gotten where I go when the photographer goes too.
Yeah.
Way easier.
Yeah, and I do like to measure when they're not home. I can get in there and get it done a whole lot faster, because I'm not talking. So I get their key, and when I go back, put their logbox inside of the yard, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and measure them real quick, my yard work. It works out perfect.
So what about the coverings of the windows? If they have the metal, that's what I
Well,
thought.
you mentioned that, yeah. I always say, is there anything while we're here that's your favorite that you'd be taking with you? Just so they have it that everything's safe.
Yeah, it stays. Okay, perfect.
They're gonna pay you 20,000 over value, and you go ahead and take those blinds, come on. And take the ceiling fans and pull those, that favorite shrub out front. If they're still gonna pay for it. Give me a match from you. Well, you'll, if you have it, you'll just look at it and think, "Hi, what's wrong with you?"
David, I know you're not super new anymore, but I asked you to prepare some questions anyway. Did you bring any?
I did, I brought a couple. Actually, a couple of them were already answered. But I still remember, because I think this month is my first, 1 year as a licensed agent. So I made it past that threshold. So, but when I was beginning, it was always like, talk to your SOI, build your SOI, talk to the people you know. But I never, and kind of still don't know how to approach them, and I don't, it's like in my mind, I feel like I know nothing while they work with me. And how do you get past that? Either, how do you figure out how to fake it till you make it, or, what specific things do you feel like you need to learn before you can be confident enough to tell all your people to use you as their preferred agent?
Getting boots on the ground and just doing it.
Yeah.
Everybody says.
And you're gonna
I-
make mistakes, we all make mistakes.
I still make mistakes. Social media, that's how they know. They see you, and then you call them, and then you don't talk about what you do, but they know what you do because they see you.
And I've always thought knowledge is power. So I subscribe to a lot of real estate newsletters, Facebook groups that have information on real estate, Alice Morning News real estate sections. And that's one of the things I do in my routine is for 30 minutes every single morning, I'm catching up on real estate news. So I'm reading a newsletter, I'm reading a blog, I'm reading something that can give me information to talk about that day. So when I'm talking to people in the grocery store, or SOIs, I have a nugget to say, hey, have you heard, blah, 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 or this just changed. And so you don't have to know everything about everything, but if you have one little piece of nugget, it makes you feel smarter and being able to contribute value to somebody that you're talking to.
And also look questioningly at your sources from that kind of stuff as well. Because some of those pages, you can get great information, and then some of them you can get just crap information where don't do what they're saying to do. I know that's not super helpful, but like I'll read those pages and I'm like, hey, that's genius. And I'll read those pages and I'm like, how are you in business? So,
and I'm talking more like NAR and
okay, good.
like actual reputable sources and
go with those.
Yes. Facebook, you can only believe about,
Well,
That's the scariest thing, is like, if you're new, you don't know what is right, what's wrong, who's saying, you're an empty cup at that point. So you don't want to just get filled with anything, so.
Find some agents that are willing to just mentor you or let you shadow them or walk you through when you're writing an offer, walk you through. I mean, there's a lot of helpful agents out there willing to spend time with other agents just to help them grow. So, and you would even talk to, Jesse or Kara, Diane or something, and have them help. And I'm not saying like coaching like that, but see if they can help connect you with agents that are willing to spend some time. And I see new agents put on our office Facebook page, they want to shadow for open houses, and there have been great agents who've offered that up to them. And so there are definitely good agents who are willing to share their time. So don't be scared to ask.
But I totally relate with that one. Like, I keep telling my brother, like, you don't know what you don't know, and it's so scary going out there and be like, what is he gonna ask me that I don't know yet, and I don't know to, look for that specifically, so that's always an anxiety point for me.
Well, and I think it's better to be honest about not knowing, don't lie.
Yeah.
Because then you're gonna have to go back and fix that later. So if you don't know, tell them, hey, I want to look into this or verify this and let me get back to you on that. So don't blow smoke just because you think it's gonna make they'll respect you more, and it will go a lot smoother if you are honest about, hey, let me confirm that what I think is right or whatever. So be truthful about that.
That's the learning process.
Yeah.
You gotta do it to learn.
Real estate is not an industry you can learn in books, school, and you just can't.
That's the hard part, is we're so used to learning.
It doesn't matter if you have 10 bachelor's degrees and 2 doctorates, you're not gonna be any further ahead of real estate than the first person.
I'm losing control, so I'm gonna pass the mic on over to Diana.
I just wanted to ask one quick thing. Can we just do this for those people who are new in here? If y'all would just raise your hands. Those of you who've been in real estate 5 years or less, raise your hand, please. So now 5 to 10 years. 10 to 20. 20 to 30. Over 30. You look good. There you go.
You haven't seen my first photo though.
I think we should have
a
go back of photos, old headshot photos. I just want to know that. That'd be right that you were hearing from the room. Yeah. So anyway.
Thank you.
That would be funny.
Glamour shot, you got a glamour shot.
Well,
You know I do.
you hear myself talking here.
I think so.
Great.
Yes.
On that note,
Been there,
let's
done that.
see who won awards. And we thought it might be fun, since 80 million people watch videos every day, why aren't we utilizing it for our awards? Why are we doing a little still? So this month we did a video. So if you'll bear with me one moment, I am going to debut our video for this month that will show our award winners. So this first one is our individual award. We are also going to have those slides available. We'll do on our inside Facebook group, we'll do a link to the Google Drive where you can download them and post them individually if you so choose to do so. All right, so on to teams. Then it comes to the groups. We will get these posted on inside and outside. And if you can't find the Google Drive to download your slide, just let Beth know and we'll get that out to you.
Thanks for coming, guys. Seriously, this was a great turnout. Love you all. Thank you all for being here. Makes my job a